So I just watched The Ugly Stepsister. I literally just watched it, literally like 30 minutes ago. Um, this movie, oh my god, this is like this is like Substance. This is in the same vein of The Substance, except it's body horror, it's commentary on beauty standards and trying to be, it talks a lot of because it takes place. It's like a retelling of this of Cinderella, and it's very very dark and it's body horror. It's about, like I said, beauty standards. It's that kind of vibe, but it's way more gross though. So I don't. If you like the substance though, if you could handle the substance, I'm not 100% sure you can handle this, but you probably would like it if you like the substance. I love the substance. The substance is one of my favorite movies of all time. Immediately after I saw it, I was like, it's right up there. Like it's such a great movie. But this one was really good too. Um, I'm sorry I didn't have any sort of intro. I just watched this and I just it's like it was just so like I don't like I love it. Like it was dark, it was gory, but like damn, it was really good. And I always am for a dark retelling of like fairy tales. So like I said, it's a retelling of Cinderella. Um, it kind of goes like in the same route, but it focuses a lot on one of the stepsisters, and her name is Elvira. Um, and because there's three sisters, there's Cinderella. Her name in this is also Agnes. Um, but the main girl is named Elvira, the main stepsister, and then her sister's name is Alma. So basically, they start off with the two sisters. The main sister is like Elvira. She's like daydreaming about the prince and being with the prince while she's reading like poems. Um, I think it was Prince Julius. It was a book of poems, and they go to the Cinderella and her father's house. They're eating cake, but then her father like playfully throws cake on Elvira, and then he dies. He has a heart attack and then he dies. Then we go, this is after he's died. Cinderella's in her room. Of course she's sad because her father died, and Elvira goes into her room. I think she's bringing her food or something, and then she talks about how like when her father died, her mom was sad and slept all the time, and just to try to like connect with Agnes. But then she like gets upset. It's weird because Cinderella's kind of a bitch in this. Like it's just weird because Cinderella is known for being very sweet and stuff and very kind, but she's kind of a bitch in this, and I thought that was kind of weird. That was something that I had to take a little bit to kind of get into. But basically, throughout the movie, I'm not gonna go scene by scene. I was going to, but I actually, since I just saw it, I honestly can't remember specific stuff. So I'm just gonna talk about major things. Um, so like I said, Cinderella's dad dies, so it kind of goes into that regular route because that happens in Cinderella. They go, Cinderella meets the stepmother and her sisters, and then he dies, and but basically, Elvira, her mom is like putting all her energy into Elvira. Alma is like kind of in the background. She's like not even really paying attention to her. But Elvira, she's putting all her energy, putting all money, even sleeping with men to be able to pay for stuff, and which is something that you find out slowly later on. Basically, she gets Elvira into dance classes. She pays for a nose job. Um, she get eyelash extensions, and so then that's where the body horror starts. Kind of, it starts slowly with the nose job. They go to some sort of doctor, and you already know this shit is like you already know this shit is bunk. You already can tell. They look to a room. I think Alma looks into a room, and like one of the nurses like wiping up a bunch of blood, and you're like, oh shit. So then he basically does her nose, but he doesn't put her to sleep. She doesn't go to sleep. This takes place in like the fucking 1800s or something. I don't know. But he puts her. Also, this movie is in Dutch as well. he puts like a thing to her nose. You know the thing that they use when someone's like working on like rock and they're like chipping away at it, basically like a chisel. I think that's what it's called. Puts it to her nose and like hits it to her nose, and she like obviously fucking screams. Like it's like ugh, like you know what I mean. And so she starts to wear this like thing on her nose that's like it's kind of like a cage. Like if she wears it on her nose, it's like this it's like metal and then it has like a thing straps going like that. And I already know they're good. I can't wait to see the costumes of this for Halloween. I can't wait because I already know that there are people already planning it. But she wears that, um, and that's where. So then she's in dance class. She is being shown up by Agnes, you know, Cinderella, and she is clearly very jealous of her. Her resentment for Cinderella is really growing. Um, she's being treated horribly. They treat her like she's so ugly and things like that. So then there's a scene where she goes to with Alma, and they're like, I'm pretty sure they have like a picnic or something outside, something like that. And she shows her because this is something that her mom gives her, and her mom is like, because her mom is. There was a scene where her mom was trying to comfort her, and my because she was like, no one's ever gonna pick me, and she gives her something, and it looks like it's just like a pendant or something, and she's like, what's inside matters, and they're like, oh, whatever, that's kind of sweet or whatever, but she did pay for her daughter to get a nose job and all this stuff. But then you find out later at the picnic that it's a tapeworm egg. Okay. um then she walks over because it's like the prince and like his friends are out. They look like they're probably drunk or something, and the prince is peeing and he's like ass out. He has his pants down. You can and she's like staring at him, and then his friends start joking around about her like sucking him off or whatever, and he basically dehumanizes her and then like and says something like I wouldn't fuck that thing, which is just which is just so crazy. Then she runs away. She takes the tapeworm, and so then the next procedure she gets is she gets her because they take the thing off. Her nose does change, and it's weird because your nose is like a very prominent feature of your face. It's a very prominent feature of your face. So when you do change your nose, it does make you look very different, and she does look different. Um, then the next procedure is her getting lash extensions, but they fucking sewed the extensions into her fucking eyelids. Like it's actually insane. The fucking doctor puts fucking coke in her water and then snorts it himself and then does it's so crazy. It's so hard to watch because with me when it comes to eye stuff I can't. It's a lot, man, because I one thing about me, I'm terrified of getting stuff into my eyes. I can't do it. So then she gets the last extensions. um they continue with her dance classes and stuff. um One thing about Alma's character is that she's completely not into any of this, and it's just not for it. She likes to beat her horses and things like that. I think they mentioned something early on in the movie where it said that she hadn't started her period yet, and then there was a scene later on where she did. Where this was after Elvira gets that surgery of her eye, and Alma has started her period. um, they didn't really do anything with that though, but it was just showing. I guess that maybe because she hadn't started her period, that's why she wasn't. Her mom wasn't trying to basically pimp her out and sell her off. But anyways, there's a what was that? Yeah, then after she gets the surgery, she's in her eyes. She goes back. Well, after she before that actually before that um Elvira goes to like the stable at night. I guess it's their horse stable. I think it is. And come to find out, because you find out a little bit earlier than that Cinderella already has like a man that she's in love with. But and she's like, but I have to marry the prince because for money, and this is the 1800s. um and Elvira finds them in the stable, doing the thing, and So Elvira tells her mom, and then her mom basically is like scolds Cinderella, and it kind of feels like the original Cinderella. Cinderella actually starts to feel like Cinderella, and at this point. At this point, but yeah, she basically called her a whore and stuff because she's like, you need to marry the prince or whatever. Which is ironic because, like I said, their mom was sleeping with all these. Rebecca is her name. Was sleeping with all these men to pay to put her daughter through all these surgeries and through dance class and trying to push her daughter to be more beautiful and suited for these men and basically kill herself to be more accepted. Like what a fucking bitch. But then when Elvira is go walking through at night, um, after getting the eye surgery, um Cinderella gives her cake because she's like very hungry. Like I said, she ate that tapeworm, and when you have the whole point of the tapeworm thing is the tapeworm eats the food, so then you lose weight because they acted like she was fat even though she wasn't fat, and even if she was, of course you shouldn't eat a fucking tapeworm, but she wasn't even fat. But yeah, she's eating the cake and stuff. So then, what was another major thing? So then she goes. They get. So then they show up with her dress. They show up with a dress that she's wearing to the ball, and she first of all, her mom is like putting on her like underdress in front of these fucking is she has her breastises out in front of these random men or whatever, and one of them, the dude that's presenting it, is fucking creepy as hell, like really really creepy. And because he goes up, because Cinderella is helping her tie up the dress, and he goes and fucking forces himself on the Cinderella. It's so gross. It's so disgusting. But then when Elvira looks in the mirror in the dress, she's happy with it. He moves her boobs up, like he touches her boobs, like it's so gross. But then you realize that her hair is falling out. She realizes it earlier when she's in the bathtub and Cinderella's giving her food, giving her spaghetti, and she realizes that her hair is falling out because she's not getting enough nutrients, obviously. Um, but he sees that, and so they have a wig for her, a blonde wig. Um, so then she goes to the ball. All these older women are presenting these young girls basically like fucking dogs, and it made me sick. Like, it genuinely made me sick to my stomach. I'm not even joking. Like, there's a scene where her mom, before they show her, she's like, "Show me your paws," and she's like this, and she even does. They do like a rough thing together before taking her out, and it basically when the girl's walking around, they're like holding like an imaginary leash, like they're literally like show dogs. And she goes up and present herself to like the dudes, and the prince, and literally whimpers like a dog. I was like, no. I was like, no, no. Like this, y'all can't be serious. Like it genuinely made me sick. So then she gets picked to well, she does her dance. She does her dance because she was picked to be the center of the dance that because that's what she was in the dance class at the finishing school. She does the dance or whatever. It's really gorgeous. I love the way it was shot. Um, but so then she goes to he goes and looks around. The prince chooses her. They dance a little bit or whatever. But then Cinderella comes in, but she's wearing like a thing over her face though. And the prince is like immediately enamored by her. And so he goes to choose her, and obviously Elvira's fucking pissed. Obviously Elvira is fucking pissed. But she gets sick because of the tapeworm, goes to the dressing some sort of dressing room, I'm pretty sure, throws up a bunch of tapeworm eggs. Yeah. It's fucking disgusting. And her mom comes in and she's like, I'm dying. Like she's like, I'm dying. Like I just threw a bunch of fucking tapeworm eggs. My hair is falling out. I'm literally dying. And her mom just doesn't care. She's like, stop crying, pull yourself together. So then she goes out there, she dances with a bunch of other dudes. And then as she's dancing, it like does this motion where she's turning around and you see a bunch of worms and maggots on the food and shit. It's really gross. And then she gets a thing where is you know when you're dancing and they like tip you down, as you know, they tip the girls down, and when she's down she realizes that that's Cinderella because the shade she had flipped over. And then so Cinderella starts runs out, and they do the typical thing with Cinderella where she leaves the shoe and she runs out and she's telling her mom, she's like, that was Cinderella. She tells her mom, she gets really pissed off. And so when they go home, she goes to Cinderella. She's like, "Give me the fucking shoe." She's like, "Give me the shoe. Give me the fucking shoe." And she's fighting Cinderella for the shoe. And as she's doing it, her mom comes home. She's attacking, so she's about trying to kill her with this fucking cleaver. And her mom is like just completely, probably drunk off of her ass, and is laughing and is like, "Get over it, you lost." Basically, like, let it go. Like, bitch, you're done. But she goes, she fits in the shoe, she realizes it doesn't fit, just like in the original Grimm's tale. Because in the original Grimm Brothers tale, the stepsisters, one of them cuts off her big toe. At least from what I remember, one of them cuts off their big toe, and the other one cuts off the heel of her shoe to make it fit better. Because Cinderella has smaller feet than them. But what she does in this movie, she cuts off her foot. She cuts off the wrong foot, by the way. It's really hard. She cuts off the toes. It's really hard to watch because her mom comes in and sees that she's cut off and sees that she's cut off her foot, and she's like, "That's not even the right foot." Like she's like, "You have to do the left foot." And so her mom just finishes it off, just cuts off the toes that she left, and then cuts off the left foot. And she wakes up, her feet are bandaged, her hair is, she's balding, and she's trying to rush down the stairs to go to get to this prince. But then she falls, her nose gets broken, her teeth fall out, and she you see that Cinderella already made it and already is going with the prince. And it's like, damn. Like this dude, like I relate to her a lot. I relate to Elvira as someone who my all of my life I struggled a lot with self image issues and thinking of that I was beautiful and all that, and I relate to her a lot, man. It really hurts to see someone go through all this just to be pretty, just to be good enough. It's really hard. Um, so then her Alma comes and Alma's like, "Where's the antidote for the tapeworm?" And so this is where it gets. This is where this scene is really really hard to watch. Okay, I'm just gonna tell you that like this is the probably the hardest scene to watch. So then she goes, she takes the antidote. The worm starts coming out of her mouth. Oh my god! Like I couldn't even fully watch it. Like I was watching it on my phone, and I had to go like this because I like Alma pulls out the tapeworm, and you think it's over, but then a bunch more come out of her mouth. Oh my god! Like, dude, this is worse than the substance. The body horror aspect is definitely worse than the substance. There's also a lot of maggots too, because when Cinderella's father dies, they like leave him in a room because her mom doesn't want to pay the money for his funeral. She's just trying to pay to get Elvira taken by the prince. And then also there's a scene where is like in the original Cinderella where she's like talking to her mom. Her mom comes back for the dead and she's talking to her, and she's the dress gets remade, but it's like a bunch of maggots instead of fucking mice and shit. Really fucking gross. But yeah, and then a bunch of more tapeworms. Oh, it's so. Oh my god, it's so. Oh, like it's so disgusting, man. That's literally one of my biggest fears. That's one of the things that I hate about like alien movies and stuff like that, like body snatcher type creature, like horror films where it's like creatures taking over your body. Oh my god, that's literally my worst fucking fear. I'm not even joking. That's literally my one of my worst fears is something like that happening to me, and that was so hard to watch. But but that's basically it. Uh it's just like it's I understand it's just it's a I understand the message of going so far to be beautiful. And it's just like, God, that was so hard to watch. Like, that was so fucking hard to watch, man. Like, that just it's just and it's crazy because people really do that. Like, the tapeworm diet was a real thing. And people really do go so far and destroy themselves and their bodies just to be seen as beautiful. Like with stuff with plastic surgery and with extreme diets and having eating disorders. It's really, really sad, like, genuinely. But I love this movie, man. It is hard to watch at times, but I think it's a great movie. I think if you like The Substance, you'll like. I mean, that'd be a hell of a double feature to watch The Substance and watch it. That'd be a hell of a double feature, honestly. But thank you for watching, y'all.